In the heart of Iloilo City, there lies an old, abandoned school. Its once vibrant walls are now covered in moss, and its windows are shattered, allowing the wind to whistle through the empty hallways. But the most unsettling part of this forgotten place is the stories. Tales of a tragic fire that claimed the lives of students and teachers many years ago. Manong Rudy, a retired janitor who once worked at the school, remembers the day of the fire like it was yesterday. He was there, sweeping the corridors when the flames began to spread. The screams of the children still echo in his mind, a haunting reminder of the tragedy. As night falls, the school takes on an even more sinister appearance. The shadows lengthen and the temperature drops. Locals avoid walking past it after dark, fearful of the ghostly figures that are said to roam the halls. They speak of hearing cries, faint but unmistakable, as if the spirits of the children are still trapped. One evening, a group of curious teenagers dared to explore the school. Armed with flashlights, they ventured into the darkness, their laughter masking their fear. But as they stepped into the old classrooms, the air grew thick and the temperature plummeted. They heard it then, the sound of faint cries, like a child sobbing, echoing through the halls. Suddenly, one of the flashlights flickered and went out. The group froze, their hearts pounding in their chests. The cries grew louder, more desperate, as if the spirits were reaching out to them. In the darkness, they saw it. A shadowy figure standing at the far end of the hallway, its form barely distinguishable, but unmistakably human. Panic set in, and the teenagers turned to flee. But as they ran, the school seemed to close in around them, the hallways twisting and turning in ways they hadn't noticed before. The cries followed them, growing louder and more frantic, until they could no longer tell if they were running from something or toward it. Just as they reached the exit, the door slammed shut, trapping them inside. The cries had stopped, replaced by an oppressive silence that weighed heavily on their chests. They huddled together, too afraid to move, as the temperature in the room dropped further. Then, the whispers began. Soft, chilling voices speaking in a language they couldn't understand. Manong Rudy had warned them not to go, but they hadn't listened. Now, as they sat in the dark, they remembered his words. May mga bagay na mas mabuting kalimutan na lang, he had said. There are things better left forgotten. But it was too late. They had awakened something in the school, and now it wouldn't let them go. As the night wore on, the group became more desperate. They tried to force the door open, but it wouldn't budge. The windows, too, were sealed tight. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, and with them came the shadows, moving, shifting figures that seemed to emerge from the very walls of the school. They were surrounded. One by one, the group began to lose hope. They could feel the cold fingers of the spirits brushing against their skin, hear the soft, mournful cries of the children who had perished in the fire. They were no longer just visitors. They had become part of the school, trapped like the souls that haunted it. Morning came, and with it, the first rays of sunlight broke through the darkness. The whispers faded, and the shadows melted away. The door creaked open on its own, and the group, shaken and exhausted, stumbled out into the daylight. They didn't speak of what had happened. There were no words that could capture the terror they had experienced. But as they looked back at the school, they knew they would never return. Manong Rudy was waiting for them at the edge of the school grounds. He didn't say anything, just nodded as they passed by, his expression solemn. He knew they had seen what he had seen, experienced the horror that he had long tried to forget. And he knew that the school would claim more victims in the future, as it had always done. As the teenagers left, the camera slowly panned back to the school, the building looming ominously in the background. A faint whisper could be heard, buried on the wind, an invitation to anyone brave or foolish enough to enter. But for now, the school remained silent. waiting for its next visitor. Thank you for joining us on this terrifying journey. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to hit the like button and share it with others who love a good scare. And for more spine-chilling tales, make sure to subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell so you never miss a new horror story. Remember, the next scream could be yours.